my team lost 1-0 to Atletico Madrid, I'm here to reiterate that we are the best team in the world. Forget everybody. As you can see, I am fully representing. Hello and welcome to JoyNews Interactive, coming to you live from digital address GA0992539 in our Kokomemble studios. You can join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. We're JoyNews on TV. My name is Mapita CBD. We have an exciting show coming up, so stick and stay. Now, women constitute majority of the population in Ghana, but representation at the top is woefully inadequate. Where are the women? Chale, if you look at a country like Rwanda, you'd realize that 62% of the MPs are women. Since 2003, Rwanda's constitution has required women hold 30% of elected positions. Then gradually the situation changed, and today we have 62%. That is more than double. Affirmative action is the way to go. Now, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We can easily copy and implement. Now, I want us to take a look at this page from the Ghana Parliament at representation, gender representation, and see what they have. So, if we go down a bit, so gender representation, we've got males at 238. We've got females at 37. The total is 275. So if you do the maths, that is about 14% of women representing us in parliament. That is far from, it's not even like a 30%. It's not even like 50%. So what is the problem? Are women not coming up, or is it that society is not allowing them? Is it that we don't have enough money to contest? What is the problem? Like, I don't understand. The inequality is very glaring. I don't want to bore you with all the feminist talk, but are you saying that men are making decisions for the majority of the population? Majority being women. Well, let's hear from Ursula Osei-Kuffour, who's the Minister of Communications and MP for Abelukuma West constituency.
This is one of my pet subjects. We need to sit down and have a conversation around that. But it's a multifaceted problem. Ours is a patriarchal society. Many people still think that we are there on sufferance. They have allowed us to also have a little space in governance. But no, 51% of our population, 52% are women. So the legislature should mirror the society in which we live. If it doesn't, then there's something seriously wrong. And so far, we're still hovering around the 10%, which is a far cry. We were even advocating for 30%. It would mean changing the way in which we do politics in this country through the selection process, our primaries. If we don't fix that, there is no way. I don't see us having more than 30 or 40 women in the next parliament as well, because there's structural challenges which we still haven't dealt with.
Oh, so you see us going beyond the 38?
Fingers crossed. Fingers and toes crossed. But if the two big parties, MPP and NDC, filled more women in their strongholds, we would have more women in parliament. If they made our primaries easier for women, and the filing fees alone that they've reduced is not enough. After you've paid your filing fees, then what? We have monetized our politics so much that if you're not able to raise funds significantly to finance your re-election bid, you're out of it. Yeah, they will look out for their what's in it for them and vote that way, no matter what good policies you present. So one, we need to think through the way we select our candidates. And I've said so before, and I still insist, that if we let only women contest women in certain seats, no matter what happens, we will have a woman on that seat. And
irrespective of the ticket that the person is on.
Irrespective of the ticket that the person is on. Whoever wins would be a woman. From the primary straight through to the general election. there are other affirmative action policies that we can adopt. And if we don't do that, we would still be hovering around this 10%, which doesn't paint our country in a good light at all.
Well, parliamentary candidate for Tema Central constituency, Abby Bright, is trying to change the status quo by joining the few in parliament to make a change.
So are there challenges in this race, particularly because you're a woman?
Oh, most definitely. But we're at a place in our democracy right now where there have been enough examples before us and enough experience to be abreast with the reality of a situation. So it's not a game for people that are not serious and are not willing to pay the price, you know, to get into at this moment. And so, like I said, there's been enough experience. A lot of the challenges are a bit old. They might not necessarily be less painful, but you expect them more, and you are supposed to have developed not only a network of of support to manage them, but also the skills to be able to either focus specifically on what it is that you're about and ignore, or find ways to get the society to grow along with you, as you know, regards horrible things like that. I say horrible because some of them are really horrible. Having said that, I would say that it's a lot better here than in many places. You have to give credit where credit is due. I'm standing for a political party, for example, which is going to give us a female vice president. This is a first, but look how far away from that woman I am in terms of footsteps. So if people like her have come before, you can't be making excuses today. Having said that, there's a lot more work also for those of us involved in politics to do in shifting the conversation away from these difficulties into, you know, the strengths and the victories that we continue to chalk day in, day out.
All right, so let's round it up a bit and talk about the suggestions, right? So the first suggestion is that even if women are contesting women, whichever party wins, it doesn't matter because a woman will be on top, right? The second one is nomination or filing fees. Let us, for the woman, let us reduce the nomination or filing fees. Because when you listen to the full interview with Ursula, she says that as a woman, you are an empathetic being. So when you see a young child who hasn't eaten, or maybe a single mom who hasn't eaten, you take out from your own pockets. So at the end of the day, I'm not saying that men won't do it, but at the end of the day, because you're so emotionally invested, it's like, okay, I see this young lady or I see this young child and I want to give from my own pockets. So that's the second one, filing or nomination fees, let's tone it down. And then the third one is that we need to, like Abby Bright was saying, that the accomplishments that the woman chalk. Let us, you know, how can I say this? Exaggerate them, maybe not exaggerate them, but let us accomplish them. Like let us give credit where credit is due, basically. Like I was saying, Rwanda, 62%. Can you imagine? See, I've never been to Rwanda, but I'm always checking them out. And the country is just magnificent, right? So 62% of women are in parliament. For 1,000 years, 100,000 years, men have been ruling us. And what thing we get? Nothing. On that note, I'm going to take a quick breather. I'll be back with more. Watching JoyNews Interactive with myself, Mapita CVD. You know how to join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're JoyNews on TV. Now, before we took a break, we're talking about women in politics or women in parliament, the lack of the representation. And joining me via Zoom is Vanessa, who's a political science student at the University of Ghana. Vanessa, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so we spoke to, we heard from Ursula, who's an MP, and then from Abby Bright. So both of them are somehow blaming the patriarchal system, right? And they're also blaming the fact that the nomination fees need to be reduced. 21st century, you are still in school and you're still studying. Why do you think there's a lack of women in parliament or politics?
Okay, so good morning to everybody and good morning to your listeners and your watchers out there. I feel that before we get down to that, we have to understand why this is so. Okay, there must be an understanding. It all boils down to history. Okay, in historical times when we had society had an agreement. If I say society, I mean the male and the woman, the male, the male and the female. I beg your pardon. They had an understanding, and what was the understanding? That hey, I feel that this work is too difficult, so I will handle that way.
Yeah.
How about you handle homework, which I feel is equally important, but it's not really. It doesn't really take a lot of your strength or take a toll on you. So whilst I go out there to hustle for our home, why don't you stay at home and take care of the home? That was the understanding.
Yeah.
And so years down the line, we realized that what happened? Years down the line, we realized that some people have thought it wise that it is important that we move away from that kind of mentality. Where we are able to tap into the capacity, intellectual capacity of both sexes. Okay, what I'm trying to talk about right now is the egalitarian society, something like the Sweden, like Iceland.
Yeah.
If you want to mention countries that have immense wealth, you can't mention these countries without mentioning Iceland. They are part of the top 3.
Yeah.
You understand? So it is important that all of us understand the fundamentals that brought us into where we are right now.
Okay.
Now we are in a society where there is technology.
Yeah.
Things that males could probably go around and I just need your intellectual capacity to just be able to do anything from anywhere around the world.
All right. So let's talk about doing anything and around the world. Have you ever imagined yourself, or do you aspire to be in politics or in parliament?
Yes, I do.
You do?
I do.
All right.
Yeah.
But have you?
Yes.
Okay. And what keeps you motivated? Do you have maybe any? Because they're saying that, like, for example, Ursula was saying that nomination fees are too high for us. You know, patriarchal system makes it hard for us to enter. But as a 21st century woman, what keeps you going? And what makes you think that you'll even get there? When there are hundreds of other young ladies who tried, but they failed to get there.
Yeah. I feel that if women can actually take the mantle, it's now. Okay, I feel that right now there are people who would like to empower women by, first of all, helping them with capital or the economical whatnot that hinder them from making that achievement. There are people who are like, hey, you know, there are males who actually champion this female empowerment and female into politics because they understand the fundamentals of how important it is to have both sexes on the table of decision making. So I feel that, first of all, I need to work hard. Even though I would want to be chosen out of the lot, I feel that if I don't have the capacity, if I don't have the intellectual know-how, if I don't have the ability to understand what I'm getting myself into, I can't make any difference. You know, it's very easy for males to have the mantle, but for us females, if you mess up, people start to think that all females will mess up. You understand? So for me, I feel that having the ability to go to school, to understand what I'm reading, to understand the people in my society, that gives me the thoughts that I can make it one time or the other. I have people who are backing me. I have people who would definitely support me when the time is due, but I need to make sure that I am ready. You're ready.
Okay, so I want you to stay on the line with me. I'm going to go to Facebook. There's some interesting comments coming up, and I want you to answer that. So this one is from Abdul Bak, who says, no one has denied any woman from contesting for to be an MP, right? So if there are few women there, is that that it's the woman's choice? So this is what Abdul is saying, that it's the woman's choice. Would you agree with him? And another one is from Patrick, who says, women are their own enemies. Besides, it's a patriarchal world, and it will remain that way forever and ever.
I don't know. Let me tackle the second one.
Yeah.
A patriarchal world, and it will remain that forever and ever. I beg to differ.
Okay.
For me, I feel that we should just have people who are intellectually sound.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're having a lot of, excuse my language, foolish males in parliament, doesn't mean that because it's a patriarchal world, we should have foolish people making decision making, taking part in decision making. No, you should open it up for everybody to be able to take part in it. That is how come UN founded WISE to part in the year 1945 to make sure that people sign these things, to make sure that everybody, no hindrance upon your gender, should be able to take part in decision making.
Yeah.
You understand? So you saying it's a patriarchal world. Yes, in the year 1903, yes, it was. But now it is changing gradually. We are not there yet.
Okay.
But it's changing gradually, and it's giving us more space to be able to do things. If you go to England, and if you go to England like this, you can't say it's a patriarchal world. Why? Because it's a female in power.
Okay.
And it is true.
Okay, so
You know,
before I let you go,
it's a woman's time there.
So Vanessa, sorry to cut you in, but before I let you go, in your class, just off the top of your head, how many females and how many males are there? So what's the percentage just in your class?
Presently?
Yeah.
In Ghana Parliament.
No, I'm saying in your class, in your classroom, right? In your lecture,
Yes.
yeah, your political science classroom. How many, like what's the percentage?
I think right now we have about 60% being male and 40 being female.
Okay, all right, okay, cool. I just wanted to get that.
Because the university is making it easy for women to actually take part in education and get to there's a cutoff point for women, which is different from the cutoff point for males. So I think that alone too is really helping. The University of Ghana is really doing very well by making sure that they're closing the gap in terms of education. Because as I said, in order for us to be able to take the mantle, women must be ready. In intellectual capacity, they must be ready to be able to take the mantle and face the outside world.
All right. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for that. So for women to be part of the table, they must be ready in terms of intellectual capacity, and that it shouldn't just be because we want women to represent. That's it.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you so much, Vanessa.
It is.
All right. So guys, this weekend, campaigns have returned. Okay. President Akufo-Addo said, "Wear your mask." Did you wear your mask? No, you didn't. Watch this. All right. So here's the thing. Some of them were wearing masks, right? But it's a nose mask. It's not a chin mask. So don't put it here, because what purpose will it serve? Yeah. So cover your nose and your mouth, right? That's how we stop the spread of coronavirus, by covering our mouths and our nose. It's not a chin mask. Thank you very please for the word so sweet. And that's how I end JoyNews Interactive here on the JoyNews channel. It's been a fantastic Monday edition of the show. Remember to join me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're JoyNews on TV. And wear your mask. Wear it. Mouth, nose.